He was on September 3rd, 2014, at around 1:30 a.m. in Korea. The group Ladies Code was actually involved in this very, very bad collision when returning to Seoul when they attend the recording of the KBS Open concert at DGISC, Jeju Yongbak Institute of Science and Technology. The manager, Mr. Park, was driving a van. It was actually a Hyundai Star X. It had been driving 137 kilometers per hour and 85 miles per hour in 100 km per hour and 62 miles per hour, which a zone in the distance was 30 km and 19 milliliters. There were rainy conditions which made the road slippery. When Park lost control of the vehicle and it crashed into a protective wall on the signal division on Yeongdong Expressway. Unfortunately for that, Eunbi was actually pronounced dead at the scene when paramedics had reached the Sungbin Medical Center. The remaining 6 passengers were rushed to the hospital. Sojong and Rice actually suffered the most serious injuries, but survived, like Sojong only survived, Rise died at the scene, They were actually taken to the Catholic University of Korea, St. Vincent's Hospital in Suwon. They were listed under conditions. However, 4 days later, Rise's condition actually deteriorated and died 4 days later. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Sojong's condition was stabilized. Ashley, Zuni, Park, and also one sustained minor injuries. And on October 29th, Ashley and Zuni were actually released from the hospital, and Sojong was moved to the hometown of Wonyu. They returned to the group's dorm on November 12th, when Sojong has continued to receive outpatient treatment. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that it was actually really, really sad to see like 2 members of the Ladies Code to actually die in this car accident. Eunbi was actually 21 at that time, and Rise was actually 23 at that time. Like that. Alright. Unfortunately for that, Ashley, Zuni, and Sojong were the only survivors of this crash. Rise and Eunbi were dead immediately. So eventually, in the wake of Rise and Eunbi's death, the group would go on to major success into the music. And they would listen to the song I'm Fine, Thank You as well. So on KBS, the group had all 5 members on this day, with the final performance before their death. The next day, they had a tribute song to say I'm Fine, Thank You behind the footage scenes to honor the group members Eunbi and Rise. On November 12th, Park was actually arrested for having this fatal collision. After speeding, he was sent to 1 year and 2 months in jail, but Park had to reduce his sentence. So eventually, on April 15th, Park's appeal was successful, but apparently he reduced to a 1 year and 2 months jail sentence, with 160 hours of community service and 40 hours of attending driving classes. So basically, I think, in my opinion, Park's driving license was actually suspended after he broke the speed limit. When there's a raining collision, don't try to do what he did. You can end up into serious trouble, alright? So after that, Zuni, Ashley, and Sojong had resumed their public schedule and continued to release the counseling and follow-up treatments for the injuries which were sustained in the crash that happened on that fatal day. Alright, so what really happened to Ladies Code right now? Unfortunately, on February of 2020, the group's contracts were expired, and this was actually on undecided hiatus. The members had pursued their solo careers. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that it's really like kind of sad when Rise and Eunbi did die. Like, not only that, not only that, there was actually like one Japanese member named Wise, you know. So eventually, it was like seriously like sad to see like why those two members dying, and Sojong, Ashley, and Zuni apparently just sang Korea songs until this fateful day in 2014. You know, like it's kind of sad to see them go. You know, but anyways, I don't want to get into too much of situation right now. I think, basically, in my opinion, the K-pop group had unfortunately disbanded already. So there'll be a definite hiatus, but I think it's currently unknown when they'll come back. Maybe they won't come back. Maybe they will come back. Depends. But anyways, I think that's all for now. And this is me signing off.